Hey, thanks for dropping in. Skitch on Wheels here. Today we're going to go over a common leak with Harley Davidson motorcycles. Now I noticed on my 2007 Heritage Softail that just about a week ago I started having a little bit of oil on the garage floor. I looked at the bike, I wiped under it, and I didn't get any oil on the bottom of the bike, but I did notice the groove around the derby cover had pooled oil in it. So that's where I believe it's coming from. These derby covers, they go through excessive heat and cold changes. They can warp over time. The gaskets can go bad. So we're gonna put this Harley Davidson up on a jack. I'm gonna look at the derby cover, take it off, change the gasket, see if it's warped or not. So let's get started and let's fix this leak. Got the bike up on the jack. Let's go ahead and get the derby cover off. There's a couple things you wanna think about before doing that. One is you don't want to do this with the engine hot. Obvious reasons, we don't want to get burnt. Another thing that you want to do is you want to get this bike level, either on a jack or if you got a friend, they can hold it steady for you. Because if it's leaning, you're going to get oil out of the bottom of this derby cover when you take it off. I've experienced that in my other bike. Believe me, it's a lesson learned. We're going to use a 27 Torx bit to take these screws out of the derby cover. This model has 5 screws. Some late model Harleys have 3, which make it a little bit easier for the derby cover to leak. But as you can see, I've got a 5-screw derby cover and it's leaking. So let's get these out. I'm just gonna kind of go around here and just loosen them slowly first. Just break the tension on it. Something to remember that I always do. Now this plate's going to be easy to put back in the correct position because it has graphics here. If your plate is just solid, when you take this off, you want to mark the inside with a marker as to which hole is the top hole so that you get this back in the exact same position and it's not rotated any. The other thing I like to do is I'll lay these screws out around a circle how I took them out. So in other words, I want this screw to go back in this spot and not down over here. It probably doesn't make a huge difference, but just in case the person that had this bike before me had trouble getting this in and it's created its own rethread, I want to make sure that I don't strip that out. You're going to want to hold a little pressure here so this plate doesn't fall. Which I wasn't expecting a big plate like this to be on the inside. I didn't know that's what it looked like. But as you can see, that's got oil everywhere. That's been leaking. Next up, we just want to clean everything around here before I put the new gasket on and put the plate back. And we're going to check this out, this plate out, and we're going to see if it's warped at all. So let's take it over to the bench and see what it looks like flat. If you ever wondered where the term derby cover came from, the old Harley Davidsons, this cover plate had a raised area circle in the center, and when you turned it on its side, it kind of looked like a derby hat, so that's where it got its name. So now that we have the derby cover off, we're going to check it and see if it's level and not warped. And then also I've got the new gasket for Harley Davidson, and I'll tell you what, once I got this thing out of the package, I really didn't look at it. It does not look like the right gasket, so I'm gonna do some research, see what gasket I need. I'll probably have to take a trip back to the Harley Davidson shop and get the right one, but yeah, this does not look appropriate to me. So I wanna show you something with this derby cover. We've got screw points here, 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 and here. And then just between the 2 screw points, that's the furthest away from each one, is right here and here. And I'm gonna turn this plate, and I wanna show you the gap difference. And I don't know if this plate is warped or if this is the way it came from factory. It might not be causing the leak, but at the same time it could be. We're going to check the gasket as well. But if you look at this black line here that goes against the wood and here at the screw point, that black line that's created, and see that how thin it is right there. And as I turn it, it gets a little bit thicker. As I come to the next screw point, it's thinner. Away from it, it's thicker. The next screw point, it's thinner. So as you can see, this is uneven. So that could be a little bit of a warp plate causing the problem. I got a little trick that I've seen. I'm going to try and do it where you rub this plate on concrete and it takes quite a while, and we're gonna see if we can't even that out a little bit. That's it, I'm done. That was a job, but I think it did the trick. Before, when I would put pressure on this plate, it would kind of rock back and forth. So the other thing is, this is the correct gasket. Yeah, they had given me the wrong gasket. This is what came off the bike, and this is what's going back on, but this is brand new. And you probably can't see it, but this little orange rim around here, it's raised quite a bit compared to what the one that came off the bike. So I'm hoping this fixes the problem. A new gasket, getting this nice and worn down to where it's level and not warped. I think that'll do the trick too. I don't know if you can see, but around each of these little screw points, you can see where it's worn down for me going across the concrete with it. So we'll see. It's kind of a do-it-yourself trick. I'm gonna put this back on the bike and we're gonna warm it up. I'm gonna ride it. Let's see if it has a leak or not. Got my derby cover, got my new gasket facing the right way. This goes towards the clutch, real easy, it's self-explanatory there. Got my top screw in. We're gonna do a little bit of blue Loctite on it. It doesn't take much, just a little bit. And then we're gonna go ahead and put this first one in. They're snug, they've got Loctite on them. I feel like the gasket's in the right spot, and so let's go ahead and torque these. Again, we're gonna do 90 inch-pounds. Tighten these again in a star X pattern. We're not going all the way to torque spec yet. I'm gonna slowly bring those up. All right, here we go. Now, I always go back through and do it one more time once you've got them all done, just to make sure. When it comes to these late model Harley Davidsons, things are gonna happen. I don't know the service on this bike, you know, if it's 5, 10,000, 15, 20,000, how it went. These gaskets should be changed regularly at some of those service intervals. And so I'm not sure if that's ever happened or not. I feel like the problem's gonna be fixed. I can't wait to get on it, warm it up, and see what we got. That's the sound of a warm Harley. Just got done riding, put about 50 miles on the bike. Let's go take a look at the derby cover. Let's hope it didn't leak. Ah, that's great. Looks good around there. Getting a new gasket, kind of trying to get the warp out of that derby cover plate seemed to work. I don't know which one helped the most, but it's not leaking now. Problem fixed, so we're ready to ride. Thanks for watching the Skitch on Wheels channel. Do me a favor, hit the subscribe button, leave a comment, give me a thumbs up, and I'll see you in the next video.